Sometimes we struggle to connect with our teenagers as parents. There are 3 toxic parenting mistakes that make teens shut you out. I'm Dr. Paul Jenkins. I've worked for my entire career as a clinical psychologist with parents and teenagers and children. And I've learned what works and what doesn't. I also know as a psychologist, sometimes we don't even realize that we're doing it. I'm going to share that with you as we get into these 3 toxic mistakes. Before we get into these 3 toxic mistakes, I'm going to give a disclaimer because we all make mistakes, and probably you've done some of these not even knowing that you have. I love what Maya Angelou said about this. She said basically, do the best you know how to do. And when you know better, do better. I love that because it gives me the room and the freedom to make improvements as I learn things. Some of what I have to share with you, you may not have been aware of. As you become aware of it, then you're in position to do something differently. Here it is. Toxic mistake number 1. Thinking that we have control. Control can be a little slippery, especially when we're dealing with another person. And we get lulled into this as parents because when our kids are babies, when they're tiny, when they're little, we do have control. Doesn't matter if they want to go to the store with us or not as we're strapping them into their car seat. Well, try doing that with a teenager. That's not going to fly. As our kids gain maturity, they also gain control over their own life. We don't have to like this as parents. It's just the reality. Thinking that we have control has us showing up for our kids in ways that they want to shut us out. They want to push us away. They want to resist or defy that control. In fact, we've all seen it. I think one of the definitions of rebellion is when kids do something just for the fact that they can do it. And it may not even be something they ultimately want. I remember a conversation with a 15-year-old, and this young man was resisting his parents and what they wanted him to do. Well, one of the things they wanted him to do was get good grades. And as I was meeting with him privately, I discovered that he wants to get good grades. But he was fighting his parents on this all along. We finally got to a point in that conversation where I said, look, you need to do what's right for you. And it will probably please your parents, but do it anyway. And that illustrates that dynamic. It's about the control sometimes. As we relinquish that as parents, it puts us into a position where we're much more workable with our teenagers especially. So that's toxic mistake number 1, thinking that we have control. Hey, before I get to those next 2 mistakes, would you take a moment to click that subscribe button? Let's get you connected to more material like this that will help you in the most important job in the world. Click subscribe. Toxic mistake number 2, and this is one that we don't often even realize we're doing. Lying. I hope that raised something in you because you're not a liar. You're an honest person. You have integrity, but we lie to our teenagers. And it has to do with that first thing that we were talking about, thinking that we have control. Here's an example. You can't go out tonight. Is that a lie? Well, if they go out tonight, they just made you a liar. And have you ever experienced that your teenager can leave if you want them to or not? They have the control over that. Do you control whether they sneak out? Do you control whether they view certain media or hang out with certain people or try certain substances? No. If you controlled that, they wouldn't be doing it. Obviously, you don't control this. They do. So for you to say you can't is usually a lie, and they will prove it to you. Watch me. That's the level that I'm talking about. And there's another application for how we lie sometimes and don't see it as a lie. It has to do with following through with our commitments. This could be in terms of a promise that you've made. Are you good on your promise? Will you follow through? I can tell you a lot of teenagers that I've interviewed about this feel like they can't trust their parents to follow through. if you don't keep your word, if it doesn't happen the way you said it would happen. Hey, you said that when I got my homework done, I could have access to the car. Okay, if you said that, keep your word. If you were wrong, you need to apologize. Or if you need to renegotiate, but let's not lie. So I remember there was an old Western movie. I think it was called A Fistful of Dollars. It was one of those old Westerns where the line was, don't pull your gun unless you intend to shoot. And don't shoot unless you intend to kill. Now, Dr. Paul is not advocating gun violence, all right? But the sentiment from that is mean what you say what you mean, and follow through with it. If you're having a problem with that, it's easiest to start with what you say. Let's not say things that we're not willing to follow through on. Another place where this shows up is when we bail our kids out from consequences that they have legitimately earned. And we usually know we're doing that when we say something like, well, next time. Why next time? Did you just bail them out this time? And sometimes we're so uncomfortable with the consequences ourselves that we bail our kids out. Well, that's a form of dishonesty. So that's toxic mistake number 2, lying. Watch out for it. Toxic mistake number 3, that makes our teens shut us out. Communicating conditional love. That's the mistake. What are we telling our kids? That we'll love them if, or we'll love them when, or they'll be okay upon completion of? Is it conditional? Are we sending that message to our kids? Now, you and I both know our love is not conditional. We're going to love our kids no matter what and even if. But what mistakes do we make when we tie our love, our acceptance of our kids, to some behavior or some criterion? Love is free. They don't have to earn it. It's your responsibility. It's your job to love them no matter what and even if. I have to tell you, the importance of this goes back to the volumes of psychological research that has been done over the years in child development, in trauma recovery, in addiction work. It's all very consistent. The best thing that we can do to help with emotional and mental problems in our world is to help our children feel more loved. Now, we have to have discipline too. That's a whole other topic that we need to talk about, but we separate the discipline from the emotion so that the message coming from us is always one of unconditional love. I love you no matter what and even if. That's my job as a parent. The mistake is communicating conditional love. Watch out for these 3 toxic mistakes. Did you find this helpful? If you did, I think you're going to love our next video, which is 5 things every parent of a teen needs to know. I've teamed up with my wife, Vicki, to bring that one to you. Click on it right over here, and I'll see you soon in that video.